Alright guys, welcome back to a new episode of We the Revolution. Let's carry on. We're still on Act 1, Day 4, Liberté. Yeah, let's load the day. Tragically, we are losing control of the streets. People feel betrayed by the king and some believe him to be a spy trying to elude justice. Special measures are recommended when suppressing unrest. We only need an opinion from the judges to make sure we are working legally. In other words, you need their blessing to shoot at protesters. People can't control their emotions and we are hurting other citizens as a result. Look at the windows. They are all broken here by the looks of things. So next time they might do something worse than just throw rocks. They might throw turds. Okay, so it pains us to see unrest growing in the streets of Paris. Commander-in-Chief Borel has informed us that the Guard are no longer able to control the situation through peaceful means. It's recommended that he be allowed to use more immediate methods to protect the innocent civilians, but we would like to know the Tribunal's opinion on the matter. Do we or don't we use use of force against the... Do I or don't I? It's civil unrest. I guess next time it might be worse, but it's nothing worse than broken windows. Oh, I don't know which one. Close my eyes. The authority should not use force against people. If it has to, it's already lost. Oh Christ, which one do I go for? I'm going to go with it. Change my mind. I wonder if it'll bring about Napoleon. Oh, stamp, that's why. Let's hope it's not too late to stop that madness. It's an interesting euphemism for musket fire. The mob wanted to act as both judge and jury again and hang people from the street lamps. Poor Pochard was almost hanged. Pochard? Claude Pochard? Exactly, the beloved tutor of your Frederick. You had to dismiss him after the incident with the oath of the clergy, did you not? Yes, Frederick tells me that from time to time he misses his teacher. What are you doing? The trial is about to begin. It's about Monsieur Pochard. News travels fast. He's been accused of counter-revolutionary activities. You know him. It can't be true. It's not so simple. Leave before somebody hears us. Go home. Think about the family for once at least. So we've got a counter-revolutionary, have we? He looks like he's in the church. Let's have a look at the papers. Okay, so Claude Pochard, 26-year-old vicar and tutor, son of a cobbler, believes in Enlightenment ideals. After refusing to adhere to the civil constitution of the clergy, he was removed from his parish, prohibited from carrying out his duties and sentenced to banishment. Despite this, he stayed in Paris and continued to work as a tutor, which he started before 1789. Pochard was captured in the streets by fortuitous circumstances. A guard officer present during his trial and a few months ago recognised him and didn't hesitate to act. Following an investigation, Pochard was accused of spying and spreading counter-revolutionary propaganda in order to prepare a foreign intervention that would end the revolution. Correspondence with Archbishop Jean-Arsène du Brutil, that's a rough guess at that one, was found in a room with Pochard had been renting from Marie Gimmet. In it, the clergyman asked for information about the unrest and the supporters of the monarchy in hiding. Riches were also found, a golden chalice and a reliquary. So, moreover, the director of one of the orphanages, Claude, taught in, testified that the tutor would question the law of the revolution in front of the students, stating that it was less important than the laws handed down by God. So that's evidenced by a letter to Claude Pochard. Dear Claude, remember to stay strong in your faith and complete your duties with dignity. Tell me how our brothers in faith are going, as well as the church in desperate times. May God protect you. That's pretty poor evidence against him, that is, personally. The revolutionaries want him locked up, common folk want him killed, family want him saved. And going on this evidence alone, he's been banished for Enlightenment ideals which would become more prevalent. Well, in fact, were prevalent in the 16 and 1500s, so why all of a sudden has it become bad? He's been accused of spying, but there's no evidence for it. And spreading the counter-revolutionary propaganda. Oh, I don't need that. Right, let's have a look at the question, shall we? Spreading propaganda is the accusation. Espionage is also an accusation. Tutor is a course of events. Banishment was also a course of events, as was being... that's his personality, actually. Letter from the Archbishop, classed as evidence. Church reliquaries, evidence. And there we are. That was surprisingly easy. Let's question him. So please introduce yourself. Monsieur le Juge, you know me. State your personal information or there will be consequences. Claude Pochard, Monsieur le Juge. You stand accused of spying for the counter-revolutionaries and criticising the existing order. Do you admit these crimes? I am innocent. This accusation is exaggerated and comes from the ill will of the accusers, suggesting that the revolutionary government is acting in ill will, typical of a priest. Okay, so let's go for a balanced view from the witness first of all. Marie. So, Marie Gimmett, okay. So, was the witness aware that she was renting a room to an unsworn Catholic priest? You better tell the truth, or we will deal with you next. Do not intimidate the witness. Do please tell us. I did not know he was a priest. He never wore a cassock. So how was I supposed to know? He wanted a room, I gave him a room. So he hid that fact from you. He dressed normally, so maybe he did, I don't know. Oh. Did he pay his rent on time? Sometimes, but I had to threaten to kick him out, but eventually he'd always pay. So the accused did not strike you as a person who had a substantial amount of money to operate or to spend freely. No, he lived like a poor man. I mean, a normal fellow would never get rich from teaching. Okay. Okay, let's have a look at these questions here. Let's have a look at this. So did he celebrate Mass after the ban? So no, there are no churches where I could do that. Then what purpose do the chalice and the reliquary possessed by the accused serve? Private religious practice. So you were prohibited from administering sacraments. It's not a sacrament, merely a prayer. The Declaration of the Rights of Man and of the Citizen allow me to pray. You should be familiar with the document. This is besides the point. By promoting superstitions in a progressive country, you are spreading sedition. I'm not sure I agree with that statement. So why did he continue to teach instead of living in France? So his duty is to help others. If I am unable to help as a priest, I want to at least share some of my knowledge. Your knowledge is Catholic propaganda. I prefer the term Catholic values. So the accused travels extensively around the Paris department. To what end? I teach wherever I can find students, doing what requires time and effort, I admit. Is that why you received gold from your fellow conspirators abroad? He travels around France to spy on people. The only money I see comes from my students' caregivers. It is not all immodest. So where do the riches found in your room come from? They were... Good God, how to pronounce that? Something... I can't even pronounce both of those words, whatever they are. I saved them from the plunder of the church in Compans. I'd rather go hungry than sell them. Peddler of superstition. Okay. So why did you stay in France despite being banished? I had to take care of my sick mother. Without me she would surely have died. Why did you not take her with you? Good, make the filth squirm. I was in no position to afford that. I am just a poor parish priest who was unable to even carry out his duties. I have to teach every single day to survive. Is that why you started spying for money? No. What information would I glean from them which will be useful to whatever that word says? That of the supposed persecution of priests, the main argument that Archbishop D something and Pius the... I have to look at my clock here. Pius the 6th or 5th or 4th or whatever are using to convince Catholic monarchs to strike against the revolution. I do not correspond with whatever that is, and I certainly do not write about the suffering of our clergymen. I would like to remind you that we have evidence. Away with the liar! What information did the accused manage to convey to the Archbishop? None. I have no connection with the Archbishop. Why would he be interested in a parish priest's help? What about the letter? We have it in our files. You received instructions from the Archbishop. Pope's dog. Behead that traitor. It's a simple letter, not instructions. And it's not from the Archbishop, but from my parish priest in Compans, Jean... I can't pronounce it. Soretto? Okay. Where is he now then? I only know that he planned to leave for Switzerland. He may have changed his mind. That's why I never thought to respond to the letter. What a coincidence. The Archbishop currently resides in Switzerland. It is indeed a coincidence. Many clergymen reside in Switzerland. Who believes that? What do you teach? The caregivers in orphanages only pay for reading and writing lessons. So why did the accused teach children that God's law stands above that of the Republic? You spread superstition and counter-revolutionary propaganda. This is just a misunderstanding. The children I teach are unable to understand such complicated matters. The accused explanation further incriminates him. If they are unable to understand the topic, why would he even discuss it at all? The church spreads ignorance and takes our money. I was only answering questions from the director of the orphanage in Gombienne. I said that God's law stood above my banishment. It is God's law that prohibits me from leaving this country. I have a duty to help those in need. So what stripping does the accused receive as a teacher? 2 francs a week, but most people give me food instead. Bread, butter, sometimes wine. Does it not bother you that poor people have to take food from their children to give it to you? Of course it bothers me, but I have to eat. What we demand an explanation. Where does the gold come from? It's not from your fellow conspirators abroad. Of course not. It belongs to the parish in Compan, which is currently under my care. This gold is not my property. It's interesting, this one. I think I might have to jail him because he's not giving clear answers. The letter itself, because he's been advised by whoever, the Jean Arson, to send this letter, said he needs to complete his duties with dignity, and he's been asked to tell about how his brothers in faith are doing. I think I'm ready to deliver my verdict. I think I am going to send him to prison. I'm not going to behead him. Doesn't deserve to die, but he definitely deserves to go to prison. So, when and where did the defendant corrupt the people of Paris during reading and writing lessons in the orphanages? How much did the defendant earn for his espionage? It says 2 francs a week. I sentence citizen Claude Pochard to prison. Lead the condemned man out. Your opinion doesn't matter. You aren't a judge. I'm judging this case. And the jury deemed prison as a suitable option. He doesn't deserve to die. So my influence has gone up. I've got a bit of better reputation. Revolutionaries has gone up. Common folk are down. Have I moved up any in the hierarchy? No, I'm still shite. And Robespierre is still up on top. Well, this has been it for the counter-espionage and anti-revolutionary propaganda trial of a priest that never became a priest. So stay tuned for the next enthralling case from We the Revolution.